Hello and welcome to another episode of Maths with Mrs. Banks, where we make maths fun and easy to learn. And in this video, we're going to focus on equations and inequalities for mathematics grade 11. And this is video 2 of a 4-part video series. And this paper comes from the November 2024 Eastern Cape question paper. Now, question 1 says solve for x, and you've got your normal straightforward equation that requires you to factorize. So this one requires you to factorize. It's one of the simplest forms of equations you can get. So what you do is you factorize this. You go therefore, okay, put 2 pairs of brackets and then x in each bracket, and then now let's find the factors of 8. That will be 8 times 1, 4 times 2, and that's it. Now we're looking for the combination where we can either get a 2, and that is equal to, and that is the 4 and 2. Now to get a negative, we must have minus in front of the bigger number and a plus in front of the smaller number, and that will give us negative 2 in the middle. So therefore x plus 2, you should be able to do this by now. This is great handwork. Then x minus 4 equals to 0. Therefore, never skip this page. Never skip this step. That's where a lot of people make silly mistakes. So please don't skip that. I know it may sound like a waste of time, but actually it will save you a lot of time and marks because you will avoid making those silly mistakes. And that's it. You're done with this one. Next question is 1.1.2, and 1.1.2 goes 2x squared minus 3x equals to 7. This, and whenever they tell you or give you this question with these instructions in the bracket, answers to correct to 2 decimal places. If they say answer correct to 2 decimal places, that means you will use the formula. That's your cue to use the formula. So the first thing you do is you leave this in a standard format. So take everything that is on the left hand side to the right hand side, so you can know what your A, B, and C are. That's what you need in order to check that into the formula. A is the coefficient of x squared, B is the coefficient of x, and C is the constant. That is equals to negative 7. And now you chuck it all into the formula. So you go therefore x equals to minus b plus or minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. This will be given to you in a formula sheet, so you don't need to cram this. However, it does help to know how to work it. So now therefore, okay, now we substitute. When you substitute, you get marks for substituting, so make sure that you substitute very correctly. So that will be minus negative 3 plus or minus square root of b is negative 3, so that will be negative 3 all squared. Negative 3 all squared minus 4. A is 2, so that will be 4, 2. And C is negative 7, so there is C, so we put negative 7. All over. There is all over. Alright. Let's change the color back to black. Alright. So that is all over 2 times A, and our A is 2. Now take out a calculator. Some people make mistakes here. Some people make mistakes, so don't make that mistake. Make sure that you use your calculator very well. So Let's substitute. So that will be common fraction button, always start with that, and then open bracket, minus open bracket, negative 3, minus negative 3, plus, just start with the plus, square root of negative 3 all squared, negative 3 all squared, minus 4, open bracket 2, close bracket, open bracket, negative 7, close bracket, and now you go down to open bracket to close bracket, and you will get your answer. Here is your answer. You can leave it in, okay, they said correct to 2 decimal places, so you must make sure that you leave it in decimal form. So that is 2,765 blah blah blah, 2,765. That is the first root. Or to get the other one, all you do is go back to your formula and replace the plus there with a minus, and that's it. You got the other answer. So that will be negative 1,265, negative 1,265, and now you round off correct to 2 decimals, so that becomes, therefore, x is approximately, that will be 2,77, and this one will be negative 2, negative 1,27, sorry. And that's how you get your answer here. Next question, 1.1.3 goes, this is an inequality. In an inequality, the first step you do is you take everything to the left hand side, factorize. This one is already factorized for us. So what we do is very simple. We just find the critical values. Critical values. These are what would be your roots if this were an equation. Critical values. To find the critical values, you take the factors and find what would be roots if it were an equation. So the first one is that, and then the second one, 4 minus x equals to 0, therefore 4 equals to x. We've got the critical values. The critical values are negative 1 and 4. Now let's multiply out. If you're not sure, multiply it out so that you can see whether your quadratic function is a positive or a negative. If you multiply this out, it gives you 4x. So it gives you 4x. All right, let's go 4x minus x squared plus 4 minus x, and that gives us negative x squared plus 3x, so that's negative x squared negative x squared plus 3x plus 4. So basically this is where it is less than, greater than 0. So that f of x is greater than 0. So this is a negative. A equals to negative 1, meaning that our graph, the parabola, will have arms looking down. Now let's put the critical values. That is negative 1 on the left hand side. That's the first, and then the other one is 4 on the right hand side. And now we're looking for where this function, the inequality, is negative. Positive, greater than 0 is positive. Not including the endpoints, so we're looking for where it's greater than 0. In other words, above the x-axis. Above the x-axis, there it is, above the x-axis. x-axis, not including the endpoint. So we're going to have open dots there to show that we're not including everything. There are those open dots. Let's have them in green. All right, another open dot on the other side. There we go. It's not the same size, it's not perfect, but that's okay. All right, now let's go back. So now that means this is where our function is above, is positive, in other words lies above the x-axis. So that is between -1 and 4. Therefore we can go back to the original. Therefore x plus 1 times, in bracket, 4 minus x is greater than 0. In other words, lies above the x-axis when your x is between -1 and 4. And that's how you solve that. When our x is between and not including the endpoint, between -1 and 4. And that's how you solve that inequality. Next question. That is 1.2. Given 14 over p equals to p plus 5, this solve for p. It's a fractional equation. Fractional equation becomes very easy to solve. Here's a fractional equation, 1.2.1. 1.2.1, the fractional equation, 14 over p. It's 14 over p equals to p plus 5. All right, so find the LCD. That's the first thing we need to do. The lowest common denominator is the p. There, it's the only denominator we have over there. All right, therefore, now we multiply both sides by the lowest common denominator. So that is p times 14 over p equals to p in bracket p plus 5. That gives us, the p's cancel out in this one. P's cancel out. And you're left with 14 equals to p squared plus 5p. Now take everything to the right hand side so you can now factorize this quadratic equation. Two sets of brackets, p and p. Now we look for factors of 14 that will give us 5. Factors of 14 that will give us 5. Let's go. 14 times 1, 7 times 2. So the combination is 7 and 2. So we put 7 and 2. The middle term is positive, so meaning that we've got a plus in front of the bigger term. Now we can easily. Now therefore p minus 2 equals to 0. Therefore p minus 2 equals to 0. Never skip this step. This is where a lot of people make silly mistakes. Or p plus 7 equals to 0. So therefore p equals to 2 or p equals to -7. Easy. Now for the next one, 1.1.2. Hence or otherwise solve for x if 14 over square root of x plus 5 equals to x plus 5 plus 5. Now notice that this has the same format. It's identical format. So instead of p here, we've got a whole square root of x plus 5 representing that. So let's highlight that so you can see there is another one. So this is the same as p, and that is the same also as p. So meaning that this is exactly the same equation as this one, meaning that what we do is we basically take the solutions that we already have and substitute p with square root of x plus 5. So that is 1.2.2. Okay, so square root of x plus 5 is equals to 2, or square root of x plus 5 equals to negative 7. Alright, this one, let's give it some space. So it will be square root of x plus 2, x plus 5, sorry, equals to 2, or square root of x plus 5 equals to negative 7. Now what you do is like you do with this square root third equations, you square both sides. You will then get rid of the square root sign and then solve accordingly. X plus 5 all squared equals to negative 7 all squared, which then gives us, therefore, x plus 5 equals to 4, meaning that x equals to 4 minus 5, which is equals to negative 1. Or x plus 5 equals to negative 7 all squared, that is 49. Or x equals to 49 minus 5, which gives us 36. X equals to 36. Now you check. So to check, let's check this. We're going to have enough space, so let's get enough space to check. All right, the first one we're going to check is x equals to negative 1, to see if when we substitute it back to the original equation, it gives us the correct answer. So x equals to, check x equals to negative 1. X equals to negative 1. On the left hand side, that is 14 over square root of 5x, x plus 5, so that will be negative 1. Negative 1 plus 5, that is the left hand side, equals to 14 over, that gives us 5 square root of 5, which is, so sorry, square root of 4, which is 14 over 2, meaning that therefore the right hand side equals to 7. That is 14 over 2. Now the right hand side, the left hand side, sorry, the right hand side is equals to the square root of x plus 5, so that will be negative 1 plus 5, and then all plus 5. Let's go back to the original so you can see exactly what is happening. There it is. So let's go. So that is equals to square root of 4, negative 1 plus 5, that is 4, square root of 4 plus 5. Square root of 4 is 2 plus 5, and 2 plus 5 equals to 7. Now notice that the left hand side is equals to the right hand side. Therefore, the left hand side equals to the right hand side, meaning that therefore x equals to 1, therefore x equals to -1 is a solution. This one is a solution. Let's check the other one. The other root was 36, x equals to 36. Check x equals to 36. So the left hand side will be 14 over square root of 36 plus square root of 36 plus 5. Which is equals to 14. Excuse me. 14 over square root of 36 plus 5 is just 36 plus 5. That gives us 41. Thirty-six plus 5 is 41, square root of 41. And this does it's not even a rational number. Okay, the right hand side, that is equals to square root of 36 plus 5, or plus 5. Okay, let's just double check. That's correct. Okay, so square root of 36 plus 5, 36 plus 5 is equals to 41. So that is the square root of 41 plus 5. Therefore, the left hand side is not equal to the right hand side. The left hand side is not equal to the right hand side, meaning that therefore x equals to 36 is not a valid solution. This one is not a valid solution. Meaning that therefore x equals to -1 is the only solution. Is the only solution. And that's how you solve this. So the equation. Next question. That is 1.3. Solve for x and y simultaneously. This is a simultaneous equation. So what you do is you let one be equation 1 and the other one be equation 2. So let's go let minus 3y equals to 1 minus x be equation 1. Alright. And then the second one, minus 2x y minus y squared minus 7 equals to 0. Let this be equation 2. Alright, now what you do is you express any of the simplest one in terms of one as one variable in terms of the other. So the easy one to use is number 1. Let's express this in terms of x in terms of y. So let's take y to the x to the left hand side and everything to the right hand side. So from 1, we take the x to the left hand side and everything else to the right hand side. So we take the x to the left hand side and everything else to the right hand side. X will be equal to 3y plus 1. Okay, and let's call this equation 3 for ease of reference. So it's easy for us to just say equation 3. Now substitute 3 into 2. Substitute 3 into 2. So wherever there is x, we'll put 3y plus 1. So the first one is x squared, 3y plus 1, all squared, minus 2, 3y plus 1, y, minus 2, 3y plus 1, y, minus y squared minus 7 equals to 0. Now we expand this one. So it will be the square, 3y plus 1. I want to expand this. All squared. Squaring a binomial. That should be easy for you right now. Or you can use FOIL. It's up to you which method you want to use. I prefer this one. So this will be the first term all squared plus 2 times the product of the two terms with their signs plus the square of the last term. This gives us 9y squared plus 6y plus 1. And that's how you square binomial. So I just wanted you to see where it all comes from. So that's 9y squared plus 6y plus 1. Plus 6, it should be 6y squared actually. Plus 6, okay, no, sorry. This is what we expand. Plus 6y plus 1. Excuse me. Minus 2y times 3y, that is negative 6y squared. Negative 2y times 1, that is simply negative 2y. Excuse me. Minus y squared minus 7 equals to 0. Now we add like terms. So let's underline like terms in the same color so you can see what we need to add together. So the square, the y squared will be 9 minus 6, which is 3, minus 1 leaves us with 2. So we are left with 2y squared. And then the y's, all like terms of y, will be 6y minus 2y, that gives us 4y. And then the last one is the numbers 1 minus 7, and that gives us negative 6. That is equals to 0. Now we factorize. Divide throughout by 2, so we simplify this. So this one divided through by 2 gives us y plus 2y. So y squared plus 2y minus 3 equals to 0. That's when we divide throughout by 2. So we factorize. Factors of 3 are 3 and 1. We have a minus at the end and a plus, so meaning that in the middle, so meaning that the plus will be in front of the bigger term and the minus in front of the smaller one. Now therefore, never skip this step. Y minus 1 equals to 0, or y plus 3 equals to 0. Let's remove this. Right. Therefore, y equals to 1, or y equals to negative 3. Now we substitute back into 3 to find the x's that are compatible. So substitute into 3. Substitute into 3. Substitute into 3. It will give us the values of x in both cases. Alright, so let me partition here so we can alright. Okay, so for y equals to 1, okay, we'll substitute back into this. X equals to 3, 1 plus 1, which gives us 4. And then for y equals to negative 3, x equals to 3 times negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 9 plus 1, which gives us negative 8. Therefore, x equals to negative 8. And then you check. How do we check? Alright, easy. You just choose a value and then choose an equation to substitute back into and see if you get the answers right. And then, so what we're going to do is quickly, alright, we're going to choose equation 1. We're going to use it to check y equals to 1 and x equals to 4. So let's go. Equation 1. Right, let's check. Check. We're checking x equals to 4 and y equals to 1. This is what we're checking from equation 1. Alright, equation 1. Equation 1. Okay, x equals to 4, left hand side equals to negative 3 negative 3 1, which is negative 3, and the right hand side equals to, it's in x's, so we substitute the x, 1 minus x, so that will be 1 minus, and the value of x is 4. 1 minus 4, which is equals to negative 3. So it checks out. Left hand side equals to the right hand side. Let's check the other one. Check the other combination using equation number 2. The other combination is x equals to negative 8, y equals to negative 3. Negative 8 and negative 3. Now let's use equation number 2 to check. Alright, right? So wherever there is x, so we substitute both values on the left hand side with this one. All right, let's just use this page. So where there's x, we put -8. So left hand side, -8 all squared minus 2, -8. Excuse me, I just want to use this page because it's easier to refer. Now the y is -3. And then -3 all minus -3 all squared. And then the last one is -7. We want to see if this gives us 0. Okay, take out a calculator. Let's go. All right, it will be -8 all squared minus 2 times -8 times -3 minus -3 minus -3. Let me see, it's minus -3 what? Minus -3 all squared, then minus 7. Minus -3 all squared, then minus 7. And there it checks out, it gives us 0. It is equal to 0, which is equals to the right hand side. So yes, this combination also checks out. Now, therefore, this is what you do. The final solution, don't forget that. Therefore, the solution is x equals to 4, y equals to 1, or x equals to y equals to x equals to -8, y equals to -3, and that's the solution. Next question, and the last question. 1.4, if 2x to the power of -1 plus x to the power of -2 equals to 3, and x is negative, that's what the x minus x less than 0 means, it, and x equals to negative, determine without using a calculator the value of 2 in bracket 6x minus 1 all to the power of -1. Now this one looks like a difficult question, but it's actually very easy. So what you do is you use your knowledge of exponents to rewrite this into exponential form with a positive exponent. That's the first step. Plus x -2 equals to 3, and solve it. So we'll get a rational exponent. So that is 2 over x plus 1 over x squared. That is equals to 3. Now this gives us a rational equation which we must find a lowest common denominator for, which is x squared. LCD equals to x squared. And now we multiply all sides, each fraction, by the x squared, so that will be x squared times 2 over x. The goal with fractional equations is to get rid of the fractions. And on the right hand side, x squared times 3. And that gives us, these ones cancel out. So that leaves you with just 1x. Therefore, that will be 2x plus the x squared cancel out over here. So that leaves you with 1. So it's plus 1 equals 2. On the right hand side, it leaves you with 3x squared. Take everything to the right hand side. It will give you a quadratic equation, and you factorize and solve. 0 equals 2, 3x in bracket, and then x. Factors of 1 are 1 and 1. We have a minus in the middle, so meaning that the combination with the biggest factor must have a negative, so that becomes minus and that becomes plus. Never skip this step. That's what comes now. You equate the roots to 0. The factors to 0. Therefore, 3x equals to negative 1, meaning that x equals to negative 1 over 3. Or over here, x equals to 1. Now let's go back to the original equation. And they said the solution must be negative. Your x must be negative for when x equals to is negative. So now this one becomes invalid. This one becomes invalid because we're looking for the one that is, we're looking for the only one. So this one invalid. Invalid. This is the correct one. That's what we're looking for. X is less than 0. Therefore, the solution that we're going to use is x equals to negative 1 over 3. So now we take this and substitute here. 2 in bracket 6x minus 1 all to the power of minus 1 that is equals to 2 over, you take the whole thing down, so that 6x minus 1 will be at the bottom. Alright, now we substitute the negative 1 over 3, 2 over 6 negative 1 over 3 minus 1. These two cancel out. 3 goes into 3 once, into 6 twice, so that is 2 over 2 in bracket negative 1 minus 1, which gives us what? 2 over negative 2 minus 1, which is 2 over negative 3, which is equals to negative 2 over 3. And that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.